magically I ran into ERP Next. Thank God Google and internet was there. The reason was there was zero capital required to start off, right? Say I wanted to start a SAP business, right? I will need to be a partner with them, and to be a partner with them, you have to invest a ridiculous amount of capital for that. It might be any of the case, say Oracle, SAP. They all have some sort of barrier to entry, right? It's a lie. All these stories coming back. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ships. So in the community, there is the partners always mention about the freelancers are there who take up our jobs and do it for a much cheaper price. But sure, there might be some black sheep, but there would be a lot of good sheep also there, right? But in that point of time, in my mind, the only thing that I used to pray to God was that, please, Frappe, keep this open source. Like everything else didn't matter to us. So open source for sure is the way that it is going to go ahead. ERP Next, Frappe framework is an excellent product. So this jump, we just joined the partnership a year back, and we were able to quickly jump to silver. It will happen for an enterprise customer, and an enterprise, in fact, they might have a consultant who will tell you, okay, this is the way you should do it, and they will give you a whole document, and that document, on that basis of that document, is an implementation team is going to deploy, right? So in SME, what happens is there is no consultant. They expect the ERP implementation team to do the consultation, right? I have 10 years came into existence simply because of a company like Frappe existed. Sure, there are other open source products and all, but they are not like Frappe. I personally, I might have my bias, I might have my own personal bias, but as long as it is open source and you have a tech team, you have a bit of knowledge, every problem is solvable. In my opinion.
Hello everyone. So I believe Sunil, Sandeep, and others, you guys can talk. So just a quick introduction. I just wanted to know about you guys. Are you from the ecosystem? Have you heard about ERP Next? I see Aziz have actually raised his hand. Aziz, if you want to talk, yeah.
No, you can continue. No issues.
Okay, no issues. So audience, if you can just give your introduction to us, a quick introduction, that can actually help us to understand who you are. So if we can start off with Sandeep. Sandeep, if you can just talk.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, Sandeep, you are.
Yeah, I am from the company FCOS Technologies. We are in Bangalore. We are mainly a solution provider or a system integrator for typically the open source solutions. FCOS Technologies is there from 2009, and so we are more than 10 years of old company. So we are using ERP Next from last 5-6 years, and we also provided some solutions to our customers. Actually, we have a dedicated engineer taking care of ERP, so we thought of making use of partnership to scale it up with our solution. That's about us. Thank you. Hello.
Cool. Thank you so much, Sandeep. So we have Azlan as well. Azlan, if you can talk about you, please. I see Bhavna Prabhakaran. Hi, Bhavna.
Hello.
Hi. So can you please give your introduction?
I'm a person who is in software development for over 10 years. So, and I am an open source contributor. I contribute heavily to the Apache technologies. So I want to explore the other side of the technology side, like how the actual customers use the product, and how using Frappe kind of tools, they can build more solutions that the users will find it useful. So I thought understanding about attending this webinar will give me an understanding about what the partnership, how they actually interact with the customer. And I'm also considering if I could apply myself as a one of the partners for Frappe Technologies. So that is also in one of my thoughts, but I was just testing waters, like how it would be. So that's why I have joined this webinar, to know more about the partnerships.
Okay, that's great to hear. Definitely, we will be talking about this after this call.
Okay.
Sure. And we have Sunil as well. Hi, Sunil. We have Mohammed Ali as well. So it's open to anyone if you want to give your introduction, or maybe we can start
Uh,
off.
Hello, this is
Yeah. Hi.
Mohammed.
Yeah.
Yes, I joined that meeting just to explore more about the partnership. I've been engaged with Frappe and ERP Next for several years now. I mean from functional side, not technical side. Yeah, I mean, I tried to be to record or to register as a partner, but I think the partnership requirement was not applicable to me. Maybe now it's different, so I'm looking forward to see more information about that. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks. I see few of our partners have also joined. Hi, Ayush. Hi, Alka. Hi. So I can see Vivek. Hi, Vivek. I think you are on mute, Vivek.
Yeah, hi guys. Hi.
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 Cool.
Asif.
Hi. It's great to hear, Vivek, from you. After a long time, yeah, we met in Partner Summit.
Correct. We
Cool,
did.
cool, cool. Cool then. So we can start off with this webinar. And also, guys, if you have questions, we will be taking your questions towards the end. So let's start off with this in conversation with partner series. So we have Vivek. Vivek is from Quark Cyber Systems. So I will let Vivek do the talking. So Vivek, if you can just give your introduction, please.
Okay, so firstly, I'm not very familiar with this live conversation, so forgive me if I don't converse very well. So yeah, to start off with, I'm Vivek Digambarnath. I'm based out of UAE. I'm from India. I'm based out of UAE, and I've been the founder and been running Quark Cyber Systems for almost now 10 years. We started Quark Cyber Systems, or QCS as we call it, was founded just after the 2008-2009 financial crash, right? That is exactly when I sort of passed out of college, and the markets were very bad, and there were, as an engineer, as a software engineer, the outlook was very bleak, and somehow I got involved with SAP at that point of time. But for some reason, it didn't seem very lucrative. I didn't feel that the market was it is good. The SAP market is great, but then I always felt like there is a market for much more cost efficient solutions, right? That I think that was the key idea behind QCS and open source, right? Quickly I identified that we have this whole thing called open source. As a young engineer, all these things were it was already known, but then it occurred to me that I could take it and put it to use, to put it to actual practical use, and give values to the clients and customers out here, like especially small and SME customers. That was sort of the idea, and even a lot of this the financial crash also was a big what to say reason for QCS to come into existence, and to pick open source, because open source means largely to a large extent, at least at that point of time, open source would mean cost effective solutions. Yeah, that's really how QCS started, and today we are doing fairly well. From a one-person team, we are much, maybe not so big, but we are doing good. We are a small, tight team of 15 people uh, who are very good at their work, who are multi-domain experts, as that's what we try to nurture within the company. Yeah, so that's what our journey has been, and we've been sticking to open source solutions till date. We don't use any licensed solutions in our toolkit. Anything and everything that we pick is open source solutions, and our core goal is simply to automate our customers' businesses. That is our core goal, and ERP just happens to be one of the many tools that we employ in it, right? And one of our favorite tools, obviously, is ERP Next and Flywheel. So yeah, that's who, in a very short brief, I am, or I represent.
Cool, cool. Thanks for your introduction, Vivek. So, as you clearly mentioned that you offer open source solutions only to your customers. So, did this come naturally to you, being an open source organization using open source product, or how did this happen?
Yeah, like I said, like I had very little experience with the closed license model. Like I was into SAP, I was into the developer side. I was a SAP developer for a very short while. So that's the only closed source business model that I've ever worked in. And the moment I left that and sort of started a freelancer journey during the early years, I don't like the word freelancer, but that's the best way to put it. When I started that open source, see, there are a number of reasons, right? Let me tell you, one of the main reason is it works, right? So it clearly worked in 2008, not 2008, around 2011, 12, and all. We had Android out, doing decently well. We know most of the internet servers run on some form of Linux, right? So open source clearly worked in my head. And one of the main reason, another reason was there was zero capital required to start off, right? Say, I wanted to start a SAP business, right? I will need to be a partner with them. And to be a partner with them, you have to invest a ridiculous amount of capital for that. It might be any of the case, Pay, Oracle, SAP, they all have some sort of barrier to entry, right? It's a licensed product, so you're not going to see the code and take it and just deploy it anywhere, right? But one of the reasons for open source was that as a entrepreneur, as a bootstrapped entrepreneur, like who's not trying to raise any fund, zero capital, right? We're not pulling out any capital. Open source solutions was right there for me to take and use it, modify it, and practically apply it at a client's place, right? And produce value for them. So that was one of the biggest reasons for me to pick up open source, right? I could just start. It was literally a garage startup. I started in my bedroom. Like in UAE, we don't have garages. So, we live in apartments. So I literally started this in the bedroom.
That's great. That's very interesting to hear about, Vivek.
Right.
Cool. And I would like to know more about your journey. As you mentioned, open source solutions, right? So which products you started off with initially then?
Like my first deployment, so like I mean in the community I keep hearing like so I like that idea because that is how it started off for me also. Like I used to take out any product out there in the market. Like the first thing that I would take out, first project if I remember I did was for Open Bravo POS, right? I deployed a Open Bravo POS at this was way back in 2012 or 13 in one of the stores here in a bakery store over here, uh, and for ridiculous price. Like I if I think about it now, the price that I gave it at was so ridiculous. Like it's so less, right? But then that is the experience that I started the journey with. Like I was just fresh out of college. Maybe I worked in SAP for some 6 months, 7 months as a developer. Also, I have no idea about doing business and all that. Like I'm a techie who turned into business, right? So I went and deployed it for some small amount of money. The customer was happy to give the money because I was able to give them the value that they were looking for, right? They just wanted a POS, and I gave them a POS. They're not recurring any cost. They were happy to give me the small amount that I asked them for, right? And they gave it. I was happy. They were happy. Everyone was happy, right? Open Bravo was one, and then I did Edempier for some time. Open ERP. Open ERP is the parent of Odoo, right? Odoo was before it got renamed to Odoo. It was called Open ERP, right? And they didn't have any community version, enterprise version, and it was as ERP Next itself at that point of time. So Open ERP was one. Then there was very few complicated ones which I explored from Apache itself. Apache has an ERP, Open Tabs, I think it's called. Yeah. So I tried all of these. I dabbled with around all of these things, but just to except for Odoo and ERP Next. Somehow I don't know how magically I ran into ERP Next. Thank God Google and internet was there at that point of time. I somehow ran into ERP Next. Like every other project, I installed it, tried it, see if it would work for my customers or the very little customer that I was interacting with at that point of time. And like in some cases, Open ERP would do better because they had those functionalities which ERP Next didn't have. Sometimes I will take ERP Next, but we're just talking about a handful of projects at this point of time. From there, how I picked up ERP Next and I sort of stuck to it today. Today, at least for the past 5 years, we only been doing ERP Next, right?
Yes.
Next and Rapid framework. How we stuck to it was simply because of the accessibility, I suppose, at that point of time, at least. Like I was easily able to figure out ERP Next, how to deploy it, how to make changes. The community, the forums were quite good, right? We had the founders itself like coming out with answers and all that. It was very small but active, right? It was very active. So I think all those reasons is why we naturally turned to ERP Next. Like there was no incentive for us to sell ERP Next. We were not getting kickbacks or nothing like that, right? It was a very natural inclination to ERP Next and Frappe framework simply because it was able to do the job. We were able to easily access it and change it the way we want it. And no one was asking us anything, right? If I was to try and do the same for SAP and Oracle, I had to go through so many licensing processes and permissions and God knows what all. Here, there was no one to reply to, ask to, nothing. If you know how to do it, you simply take it, you do it, give it to your customer. And like, many of the times, often at that point of time when we used to go to Frappe conferences and all, there was a lot of people used to say like, ERP Next should do this, ERP Next should do that. But in that point of time, in my mind, the only thing that I used to pray to God was that, please, Frappe, keep this open source. Like everything else didn't matter to us. Nothing else mattered to us. Like, just keep it open source. Like we know we can survive as a company. Like it's not a problem. We will be able to find people and sell it and blah, blah, blah.
That's great. That's great. I mean, there are a lot of members over here who have joined, and they are also looking to become uh, a community member initially, not becoming a partner, but to understand the ecosystem, right?
Correct.
So yeah, this was very insightful.
I mean, it's a journey. What I want to tell everyone over here is a journey. Like you can't expect to just join year one and understand the whole system. ERP, this whole business applications are complex things, right? It's not something we can acquire simply like that. Like sure, we can take courses and all that, but nothing beats hands-on experience. Nothing beats that, and
Right.
that's a big way to learn also, right? So do not worry, 3 4 years down, open source solutions are only growing. As you see globally, almost every new technology is becoming open source. Everyone is open sourcing it,
Yeah.
right? So open source for sure is the way that it is going to go ahead. ERP Next, Frappe framework is an excellent product, right? It has its functional gaps, right? It has a lot of functional gaps. Technically, it is excellent. One of the best technical tools you can have there. Like you can quickly, like you can spin up proof of concepts and demos like in a day, too. Like complex scenarios you can take, and if you know how to do it, you will in 2 3 days you will be able to set up demos, go show it to your customer, win their confidence, take up a project. The tool is great, is what I would say.
Right. Right. Can you talk about your very first implementation of ERP Next? How did it happen, and how was your experience with respect to it?
Yeah, the very first implementation was version 4. It was called ERP Next version 4. It was not even called Frappe Framework at that point of time. It was called WN Framework, Web Notes, right?
Backgrounds.
Frappe was early known as Web Notes. At that point of time is when, what to say, I mean, it was a trading company. And ERP Next was fairly able to do the base, like the core basics quite well. Like that is like, have an inventory master, supplier master, customer master, make invoices, make deliveries, get few reports, account for it, right? Uh, this core basic was there, which we were able to deploy on a cloud, right? I still remember, like Oracle in 2015 or 16 put up a conference, right? They have big conferences, right? So they
Yeah.
were talking about how Oracle. So I'm watching this on YouTube. Like I think
Okay.
after 2 days or 3 days of that the conference being out. So I'm
Okay.
watching this on YouTube while I'm doing work, right? So the work I'm doing is deploying ERP Next on DigitalOcean at that point of time. And at that point of time, the Oracle's head was talking about, hey, how Oracle has updated, and now we have a cloud service, right? And
Yeah.
now you deploy Oracle on cloud. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was doing a deployment of ERP Next on cloud at that time, so like. I mean, ERP Next clearly has a market, right? We just have to identify, reach out to the people.
Yeah. And the customer was from Middle East, which you are talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, Middle East. The person was from here in Middle East. It was a simple trading company.
Okay, okay, understood. And I also recollect one of your talks, which you gave in 2016
Mm,
conference at
mm,
Frappeverse, right?
mm, mm,
And I see that you are one of our silver partners over here. So how
mm.
do you see this journey as you spoke about your first customer, which was into trading, and currently you have done 100 plus implementations right now. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It was a tough journey. It's not like it was easy. It was very tough to be wherever we are today. I feel like, like we would have been on a much more better position than silver, like because we joined the partnership a little late into the process. So if and moreover, the partnership program also started a little after, that talk 2016, if I'm right. I don't think there was any partner model and all at that point of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I understand that. We all understand that. Like Frappe is a coming up. Like your business model itself is changing, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure if there was a partner model accessible to us at that point of time from those years itself, we might have been in a different scale because we have done 100 plus implementations. Out of that 100, we might have only converted maybe 10, 12 to
Traffic Cloud.
Traffic Cloud, right? There's still a huge number of people who could still convert and who we are working to convert, like.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Sorry.
this jump, we just joined the partnership a year back, and yeah, and we were able to quickly jump to silver
Right.
because of our existing customer base, and obviously all the new clients we are pushing only to FC. And let me be clear also, like there was a specific reason why we didn't join, like it really didn't have anything to do with the company. It more had to do with the model, and a technical problem, right? The technical problem was that almost all, if I'm talking about this 100 implementations, right?
Right.
Almost this, or 99% of this implementation, maybe 5-10 implementations out of this, we don't have any custom work, right?
Okay.
There is no customization is different. Custom module is different.
Okay.
Almost every of our implementation, some form of the custom development happens because in our method of implementation, that is the second phase, right?
Right.
Automation. We might get to that a little later, but that was a very important point for us to be able to override your core functionality when required, to be able to add in custom apps. So that sort of functionality, I think, that overriding feature came in version 13, 14, I think. And from that point of time, it absolutely made a sense to join FC, and we joined FC. Because almost every jobs we do, we deploy custom modules.
Right. Great.
That was the only reason. Otherwise, it always looked promising to join.
Right. So as you have mentioned about Traffic Cloud, right? So how do you find hosting on Traffic Cloud for your customers, and how's your customers' experience on Traffic Cloud?
Well, for the customer, to be honest, what to say, they might not really. Some of them who are aware of the hosting and all that might be okay. Yeah, I mean, for every normal SME customer, maybe it might not make a difference. But then there are certain clients, like we had one IHG. We had some clients who had large instances, very large instances, right?
Okay.
And then they used to suffer on, like, say, DigitalOcean and all that. And for us to optimize it also was the difficult thing. You know, we were reaching the ends of our technical knowledge, in-house technical knowledge, to solve those problems.
Yes.
So who better to solve those problems than the maker of the product, right?
Right.
So I mean, it was not our choice, right? Like, we were always educating this customer to move into FC and all that. But finally they did, and they are so happy. Like, they might have been suffering for almost 4 or 5 months with a slow system.
Right.
And the moment they jumped on, I don't get any calls from them. They're quite happy.
That's great. That's great. Right. So that's what Traffic Cloud is actually here to
Correct. So
help partners and customers.
yeah.
Is their DevOps part in that case.
Correct. So how I, as like, so I came as a technical person. I'm becoming a more business-minded person today.
Okay.
So in that mindset, we are just outsourcing the DevOps to FC. Like, you guys are making money, we guys are making money, everyone is making money, everyone is happy. The
Yeah.
customers are happy about how safe their data is. So I don't have in my list of people, no one has any problem converting to FC. Or starting off in FC, right?
Understood. Understood. And also, as you mentioned about custom development, right, for the customers, and I see you belong to a tech background. So, what do you think of Frappe framework?
Oh, Frappe framework is great. Like, it's good.
Yeah. So almost the 100%, 100 plus implementation which you have done, right? Uh, uh, in all the implementations, were there custom developments?
Oh yeah, everything, some form of the other, small things. It might be very small things
Okay.
like I could give you examples of that. Let's say when I make a bomb,
Okay.
yeah, bill of materials, right?
Right.
I'm making a bill of materials during estimation, for example, right? Some furniture companies. Take a furniture company, for example.
Yeah.
They are getting a order. They are getting a not an order. They are getting a inquiry, right?
Yes.
This inquiry goes into the design department. They are, as a part of their estimation, right? They are creating a bomb.
Okay.
The moment they submit the bomb, we are automatically creating three prices in three different price lists, like
Okay.
the price, what to say, retail price, the project price.
Hmm.
It's a very simple thing. Like it's not there out of the box, but
Right.
in two or three scripts, we will be able to achieve this. But the time the team saves for this, right? The moment they set up the bomb, the prices are created. The sales team just has to pick the item in the quotation, select which price list they have to do. They have three different prices. They don't need to copy paste anything anywhere. It's one single source of truth of data.
Yeah.
There is time saving here, efficiency here, right? These are simple scripts that can improve the life or the implementation at a site, right? These are simple things you can do. But obviously, this has to be taken in phases, because if you start analyzing like this, you will have a lot of things to
True
do,
that.
right?
True that.
Yeah. So we have to do this in phases of implementation. First phase is just a standard deployment, and then second phase is where you're truly bringing the value, right? You're putting all these systems to save time, to save by saving time you're saving money, decreasing errors and all that. So you will be able to find simple automations in any company's implementation. Okay, this data you automatically push here. If this happens, these three steps happen, right?
Yeah.
Which might not be available out of the box, which most likely wouldn't be available out of the box. But it is these simple things which brings value to the customer. And when they see it, they are open also to pay, paying you, rewarding you for that, or appreciating you for that, uh, or you will end up in their good books, and they will talk about you to somebody else, and you get another job through that, right? That's how
Understood.
this whole thing works. At least
Yes.
works.
And also, as we are talking about Frappe framework,
Right.
let's keep ERP next aside.
Mm.
Have you built any custom solution on top of Frappe framework
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're delivering to the market? Can you speak about it?
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it, but a few things I can tell you.
Yeah.
Few apps that we created. One thing that we are mainly doing right now is there are a lot of IoT devices, right? Like
Right.
say anything like UAE, Dubai. If you take a building or a community, like where people stay, so there are this automatic car barriers are there, right? There are gyms and pools which are controlled by access cards, right?
Right.
There are certain other sections which might be controlled through facial recognition systems, right?
Yes.
So there are a lot of these kind of IoT devices uh,
Okay.
that you find being deployed in a lot of communities in Dubai.
Mhm.
So when a company, say for example, Emaar, for example, right? Emaar, if they, that Emaar needs to manage these devices which come from multiple vendors having their own software, right? Each
Okay.
of the devices have their own software. So for me to do crude of information on these softwares, like a resident joins the community. A resident has a car, a resident has two children, a wife, their facial recognition information, their car information, their access rights to different buildings and facilities. To control all these through multiple softwares is a big pain.
Right.
Yeah, for a developer, say like Inmar, right?
Hmm.
Or in India, you could take any of the big developers you can take,
Yeah.
right? Boda, whatever. For these guys to manage this, it becomes a big pain. So what we have done using Frappe framework is we created a black box.
Okay.
So the user only tells that I want to add my car and my these two kids to this apartment. That is all Imar would do. We will be doing all the backend work of identifying which brand this is, which
Yes.
API it is, send the information to the correct device in the correct location. Blah, 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 blah. User basically is getting a black box where they are interacting with one single API to do all their activities, while we are handling all that complexity using Frappe.
That's great. That's great to hear. And as you spoke about Imar, right? I would like to know about the story as well, right? As you are implementing it for Imar Group, right? How did it happen, and what thing they like the most about it?
Well, see, Imar really is not really seeing Frappe as such, right? They are only interacting through an API,
Right.
right? It's like, how do I say it? It's like interacting with GPT today. Like you are given one API and you are making an API call. What happens you don't know, and you are just getting a result. Like what I'm trying to say is that Imar in this case is not seeing anything.
Great. Right. Right.
They're
Right.
just interacting with a microservice basically,
Right.
which is sort of built on Frappe. So
Got it.
they are not really aware of
Frappe in general. Yeah.
Frappe in general or what technology we are using. So it might be a
Right. Right. And
black.
also, yeah.
Well, like for example, there are these really famous buildings out here. There, I can't take the name, right? Which is which is having its complete facial recognition system in 6 towers, completely managed by Frappe framework in the backend, right? We are talking about managing some 2,000 residents, their facial recognition systems and all that, and it's being completely managed by Frappe framework.
Got
And
it.
it's a very popular tower in UAE.
Understood. Understood. Cool. So as you are there in the ecosystem since long, there are a lot of members over here. They want to know good practices of implementing ERP Next or Frappe framework solution to the end customers. So what would you suggest to the audience?
I mean, like, let me tell you, like, I have some notes that I have taken from this. So yeah, see, one of the main things, like, see, we need to identify which market we are working for, right? Deploying an ERP for a small entity is different from deploying an ERP for a SME entity.
Hmm.
It's extremely different from deploying what to say the system for an enterprise. So what changes over here is not really the technical details. What really changes is the way you interact with people, right?
Okay.
Unfortunately, our business has a lot of people management aspect. There is a lot of human interaction. It's just not about having a great tool, right? But getting it deployed in a company where there are multitude of people with multitude of thinking and cultural backgrounds might can be a challenging task. So it is very important we identify what kind of market we are working in. Like if it is an SME, you know, your stakeholder might be just one single person, a single business owner, right, who's invested in it. If you are looking for a little larger SME or a enterprise, we are dealing with multitude of stakeholders, correct? So you will have a finance manager, you will have an IT manager. Like if you're working with SME, you are able to just talk to one person and you just need to convince one person, right? It might be 50, 100, 500 size company, but it is a SME, it's a single owner. You are just interacting with one or two people, maybe the business owner, his children, maybe, right? That's how in practical terms it would turn out to be. It's just one person you have to convince. Whereas if it is an enterprise, you will have different stakeholders. So a finance manager would only be interested in what is the pricing for it, right? How cheap he can get this product, right? IT manager would be concerned of its technical capabilities. Can I expand it? Is it secure, right? The sales manager might be only interested in how well it is going to save my customer data, how well it is going to give my reports, right? How easy it is for me to enter data. So, like every stakeholder has their own areas, right? And anything else we talk to, if you talk to the sales manager about finance, it's a waste of time.
True that. Yeah.
Yeah. Our goal is to always get into a company, convince a sale in the shortest period of time,
Okay.
and then come out. So it is important to identify what kind of company we are getting into, who are the stakeholder. If there is a stakeholder, what area he is of concern, right? Prepare POCs, like how we handle internally is POC. Like we found POC is the most powerful way to
Okay.
take a sale in the shortest way.
Okay.
Proof of concept. You could take you could do a POC which will address the concerns of each of these department. Like if you take a manufacturing company, do a POC of what to say, the order coming in, a work order being created, the bombs being created, job cards being created, items moving, the whole cycle till you make delivery and invoice and a report. That's it.
Okay.
Like, full cycle you show them. Most likely they might not have anything to say. Maybe they might have comments, but one POC like that is what we usually do. Very rarely we have presentations or whatever. We will have a presentation of who we are, who is, who is Frappe, how these two companies come together, who are our customers, who are we serving, what benefits you will have. A short 5-6 page presentation, and then we just understand the nature of their business. We identify the right. There might be stakeholders, like there might be a sales manager who's putting his head into the finance manager's area, right? So you have to identify all these, tackle each of these sales stakeholders, and then you should have the project unless there is no other internal issues. Yeah, enterprise will always have more than just what to say, fulfilling the requirements. There are a lot of
Got it.
other things.
So the approach varies with respect to the size of the organization in that case.
100%. You need to, yeah, and then I mean, yeah, you identify the areas, you deal with the stakeholders, we show POCs. Then when we get to the project, right? Get to the project is very crucial. That is, you should have clear goals.
Okay.
Right? That is, what is the team going to input? What each team is going to input, and what is the expected output from the ERP? This should be very clear. Like say, like oftentimes even we used to do it. I'm telling a lot of this from my own experience, right?
Okay.
Like when I started off as a freelancer or a budding ERP next person. Sure, customer will ask, okay, you have a sales module, you have a purchase module. I'll be like, yes, I have. All this is there, this is there, this is there. Maybe even we might show a demo. Okay, we might demo. The customer will be like, okay, I'm happy, set it up. When we are doing it and when the actual work happens, is the customer will be, but this should be like this, but this has to be like this. Oh no, this is too many steps.
Right.
Right. So there is a conflict over here, right? So this is that difficult parts which comes in, and this only comes in because before we start the project, we need to establish clear goals.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just like, okay, we are selling you a selling module. No, it has to be more granular than that, right?
Got it.
So one of the ways which we after a lot of trial and error and figuring things out is what is the best way to do these things is and it is time sensitive also. Like when you're trying to make a sale, you can't take too much of time. Like you can't go and sit and spend 5 hours for free. Like many of the SME customers wouldn't be willing to pay you for analysis and that.
Right.
That it will happen for an enterprise customer, and an enterprise customer, in fact, they might have a consultant who will tell you, okay, this is the way you should do it.
Right.
And they will give you a whole document, and that document, on that basis of that document, this one an implementation team is going to deploy it, right? For an SME, what happens is there is no consultant. They expect the ERP implementation team to do the consulting, right? Uh, which might work for SME, but so it is very important that these things should be very established, clear goals, like a checklist. Like before you get into a job, you have clear checklist, like this thing will be deployed, and that has to be agreed between both the parties. Both the parties, when I mean it, is between the client and your own company. And maybe you are not going to the site to deploy it, your team is doing, so that team also has to be there. All the parties has to verify, okay, this is what we have to deploy. Like it should be physical, it should be tangible, like it should
Right.
be ideas in the air, right? Then only you can go and say, hey, I deployed these things. Your team tested all these things. I got their signatures for these dates. This is my payment terms. Give me my money, right? Which
Yes.
is, at the end of the day, that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
So as long as this kind of work is done properly, like you have documentation of these steps, what is to be delivered. It can be anyway. Every company can form their own techniques of documenting deliverables and all that. Then it should be a easy ride. But when you don't have these things, is when it gets difficult. So in an SME client, maybe these things are hard to do. So what we do for SMEs is we ask them for, give us your reports. Like every department, give me what reports you expect from ERP, and we sort of work backwards. Like sometimes we identify, just from looking at reports that we will need some customizations in say an invoice to achieve this kind of report, right? So the getting reports has been a very a good way to deal with it. And we simply tell the client, our goal, okay, for accounting is to fulfill these reports. If you are getting these reports from the system, that means it's closed, right? That is how we approach automation, making entries easier. Everything comes secondary. That we will tackle in phase 2, right? Phase 1 is just to get your basic system running. What I mean by your basic system is, when you give me this input, we have established that we will get these reports.
Right.
That's
Right.
how we tackle. I'm not saying this is how should be the way or something, but
Right.
this is how we tackle it for SMEs, at least. Because oftentimes they are not able to give you exactly what they want. They'll just call you and tell you, I want to increase my efficiency, I want to have a better ROI, or they'll just throw these kind of keywords. But what does it practically mean? How do we practically achieve it? Maybe not many people might be able to tell you. Some are there. Some people are there who has clear idea of what exactly they want. Many are just getting in unsure of how to go about it. So in that certain times, this is a great way. Like just ask each of their stakeholders to give what reports should be fulfilled through the system. Let us target that. That's what has worked for us.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So we just have 8 minutes of time left. Uh, so I would like to know about your experience. If you want to sum it up and give some hint to the audience, right? How's the journey, or be prepared if you are getting into ERP next for this. This is the thing which you get.
Yeah, I mean, see, you guys should we are in the open source space, right? Open source space can be very competing. It's very competitive because anyone can really get into it, right? So in a good way, like capital might not be your only strength. A lot of times businesses, it depends on your capital strength. Okay, this guy's got more money, so he's able to do more things, right? When you come into open source, it's not like that. Open source is more skill based. Like if you have skill, you will survive, you will thrive, you will grow, right? So I feel it is very important that whoever is getting into ERP Next, since ERP Next is an open source model and it's not a licensed model, it is very important that everyone, including the founders, all nurture upon their technical skills. I mean, I wouldn't say them to be developers or anyone like that, but it is important that they understand how it works. Because since it is open source, keeping your team together is also becomes important, because anyone can break off. Someone builds enough skill, they can break off and become their own entity, right? Which is the power of open source also, which I support strongly, because I'm someone who came like that, right? Like who started from scratch and was able to build a small company. There is a lot of potential. There is a lot of growth potential if you are skilled, if you know what you're doing. Build your knowledge. That is what all I would say. Like build your skill sets, build your knowledge. If you have technical skills, knowledge, there will be thousands of people to hire you, employ you, or you yourself can start off a freelancer. From an open source model, or your skill sets is the ground, right? So I will always tell people to keep building on that. Like even today, even though I'm running a business or a company, my hands are always dirty with code. We are indulging heavily into AI, in the AI space, right? So it is important, since we are in open source. If it was other models, we could afford to not be technically skilled. But since we are in open source, I think having a strong foundation is good, because you will always thrive no matter what happens. So that is one of my main points to the people out here. If you are looking to grow in whichever way, if you're running a company also, if you are employed also, right? If you have a skill, you don't have anything to fear about. And keep learning, like things, keep new things are coming. There is new ways of automating things. At the end of the day, what is customer looking to achieve? They are not really looking for an ERP or a whatever. They are just trying to automate their business, put less effort in, get more efficiency, right? So this can be achieved through so many ways. So just be aware of all those things. Yeah, I think that's my advice. Stay on top of the tech stack.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And also, I would like to, uh, so we can have a Q&A right now. Maybe we can take few questions as we have some time. So yeah, open to the audience. Maybe you can unmute yourself and start asking your questions to Vivek.
Hi, Vivek.
Hi.
Yes. So I'm a software developer, so I haven't been much into the business side of the part. So I have this question, like where when you are deploying the solutions, you find that there is something lagging in the product, then but still it is not getting developed. Then how do you handle such situations? Do you just delve into the code and see if you can?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I see, I am able to do that here. If I was doing in Oracle or SAP, I'm not able to do that.
Yeah.
But I
So
have a
even
way.
if it is a
Like,
very huge work, still you think like because do like I'm also like it's a huge feature that has to be done, or some huge part that is beyond the work that you do. Like as a consultant, it will be like an overload for your existing business work. So still, but you do that and contribute it to open source, or it is still residing as some custom solutions, and you just give that to the customer alone. Like I'm just trying to
yeah,
understand how it
it
works.
depends. Like sometimes some work we might put out there. It might be found on our repository. We might not put it as a push request or a pull request to the main product, but it would be residing in our what to say, Git repo, right?
Okay.
And to answer that question, will we go and do it after all or not do it? It depends completely on the customer and how important that requirement is. Uh, did we happen to, does this fall under our scope of current delivery? Can we push this outside our current delivery and make it as a CR, right? A change request, that is. Uh, we will even analyze, okay, is this customer a good customer? Is he gonna bring in is he gonna propagate us, right? Which is very important because for us, many of our businesses, a large extent comes from references. Like customers who work with us have good experience with us, and like we might face difficult situations like this, and we are able to deal with those, right? We are many times a lot of our customers says that we are the no people. We'll never say no, right? Which is a bad thing also. Which is a bad thing also.
Yes.
Which is a
So
bad thing.
there is no clear boundary on
There is no clear boundary.
top
But
and where
there
you
is
can.
no clear boundary. But since we are a small company, we are able to make that decision, right? We are able to make that decision that should we do this or not? Is it going to help us, right? So sometimes we choose to do it. Sometimes we push it as a CR and the customer is happy to pay for it. Sometimes we outright say no. It depends completely on the scenario. But my point is, if required, we are able to do it, right? And Frappe framework is good. That to be honest, maybe we are talking about effort of 4 days, 5 days, 1 week to develop many of these use cases that comes as gaps. Right? I mean, there are large use cases which we sit and discuss with clients and which might take a few months to come into action. But then many of the small things and all just happens in 1 2 days, 3 days work, 4 days work. There is no hard and fast rule for it. We
Okay.
completely decide. If required, we do it. If not, we don't do it. But the highlight is we are able to do it. Unlike a lot of other things.
And one more question. So this is like a general opinion, like as it is an open source, uh, does customers think that paying a certain amount to the product it's open source? Why do we have to pay that much amount? This may be some common questions that is being asked around. Like it is an open source product. Why do we have to pay for it for all these things? Like we add something little over it, but the code is free, right? So why do we have to pay? Is there any such hurdles that you have faced in your experience?
100%, 100%. That is one of the most common hurdles we face on a day-to-day basis. These days, it's hard to justify. Like some people, like outrightly come and say, "Why should I pay this? Is an open source. Why should I pay you this much money?" Like, I would say not to work with those people. Outrightly don't work with those people. Try and work with people who respect your time, which is very important. That is very important. Who understands and values what you are doing. That should be one of the first things that you should keep in your mind when you're trying to do open source business. Like work with people who understands. Try not to work with such people who's coming and saying these things. Like we try and make them explain, this is service business, blah 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 blah. Sometimes we give them examples of a doctor, like will you do a heart surgery with a doctor who's got a 1 year experience, or you will do a heart surgery with a doctor who's got 10 year experience, right? And will you pay the 1 year guy the same money as the 10 year guy? No, you won't, right? So we use these kind of things to sort of justify, but then the moment that question comes, that these people are not really interested in the benefit of you as well, right? When you are going into their company as an implementation partner, your goal, your mission is to give them utmost efficiency, right? We are working with this mindset that we give them the greatest benefit, right? And if that same mindset is not reflected to you back, then you should not waste time. And like as a small, like I think I heard you speak again earlier, like you are a contributor and you've been working for 10 years, right? Uh, you can leverage that. You can leverage that, and just work with people who appreciate your time. Like might be hard to find, but
Yes.
there are people like that. Like we should be vocal. Like we should not be silent. Like we should tell them like no. Like we should telling them no is important. I think. We should stand ground. We should tell them no. Again, there is no hard and fast rule to tackle it. Like our easiest way to tackle it is just say just not to work with this.
Okay.
But as you start off with, you might encounter these jobs and you might need to tackle it. Like that's what happened with our story. Like it's not like from day one we had premium customers with us, right? We had to go through this, and we take it as a part of our learning journey, our growing story. Like from day one, you can't get premium clients. Right? No one is going to risk it and give it to a person who doesn't have a history of success stories. The moment you accumulate few success stories, then life becomes much easier, right? You can always tell, hey, call this client, talk to them. They will tell you how to do it, right? So to build that, if you're unlucky, you might need to go through difficult experiences. But even if you are doing it, do it because it will give you references, which is very important. References.
But initially, when you have started, it would have been difficult because now with a track record of 10 years, you would have some testimonials at your end to show that your history of work. But when you have started initially, how did you convince the potential customers that we can do these things?
Well, when I started off, the only customers I would get is who is looking for the cheapest of service, right? There will be the same service that I'm offering for, like a company would be offering it for like maybe 100,000, and I will be saying that I'll do it for 10,000, right? And that is the only reason they might risk to do it with us. Like they'll be
Okay.
like client will be like, okay, it's just 10,000 rupees or 10,000 dirhams or whatever. It's okay if I lose it. I can risk to lose it. I can't risk to lose 100,000, right? So there would be might some people who might give you the opportunity for more values. There might be, if you're lucky, who might give you opportunity for great values. But if you are starting off, take it. Like for you, the experience is what matters. You're not only learning technical thing, you're going to learn the human interaction element, how to manage these people, blah blah blah. There are a lot of learnings. Like every job is a learning experience, right? So take the learning. You need that learning. With that learning only, you are going to get more money for your hour tomorrow. Right?
Okay. Got it.
Cool. Uh, Others, do you have any question to ask? I see someone has raised his hand. Uh, yeah, Sandeep.
Yeah.
You can ask your query.
Um, Hi, Vivek. Thank you for the detailed informations. So my query is directed, is there any specific market segment the ERP Nest is very suitable? And is there any particular segment which you should not approach ERP Nest? So market verticals.
See ERP Next out of the box very well. I think works for like trading companies and all that, right? A trading company is one area I would use it. I could use it pretty much out of the box. I mean, it's a hard question to really answer, Sandeep. Like we have used ERP Next in manufacturing, in trading, service companies, in clinics, in schools.
Mhm.
Uh, like everywhere, every business we encounter, we always try to solve it with, like we already told you with FractalFrame, we try to solve a completely different IoT
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So what I would say is that look at the team you have. If your team is able to create small custom developments and module developments, then you could pretty much tackle any what to say, if that capability exists, right? Then you could tackle pretty much any domain. You don't have to fear about domain. It is only domain knowledge that you need to fear, right? Do you understand that business enough to go deploy it, right?
Mhm.
Once you understand, do you have the technical capability to close the gap, right? So if you have the technical capability to close the gap, no matter, go in. You can learn, understand that domain and close it. But if you're not having the technical gap, then you're talking about standard implementation, which works for trading companies. To a lot of manufacturing companies, it will work. What are the service businesses? Yeah, yeah. Trading companies, what I would say, it works seamlessly, maybe. I see again. I don't want you guys to take the misunderstanding. Like it runs everywhere quite well. It's just small things we are talking about. Small gaps here and there, right? If you have a small tech team or just one member team, you will be able to close these things. And I think most of the latest, all the new versions are quite, seamless when it comes to say trading, manufacturing, and maybe it is my bias also. I don't know. I feel that I really can't answer this question right well. Yeah, trading companies maybe.
And in terms of size, is it really we can work with enterprises?
Yeah, that is what, like I told you, if you have technical capability anywhere, you can go deploy this without any fear. There will be nothing that you will face. Just one guy to make a small script or write a small module, which is so easy. Like in ERP Next, so easy to create a module, so easy to deploy it with FC Cloud, so easy to maintain it, right? You go into a company, I did like 70%, 80% of the time you have almost everything required. There would be a 10%, 20%, which because every company operates differently. No matter how much you say to try to standardize, I feel the opposite. It might be my personal bias. I keep hearing my colleagues thinking differently. But in my personal opinion, in my experience, everyone has some form of differences. So either it is you challenging their operation and telling them, hey, stop doing it this way, you do it this way, right? So if you are trying to do that, then you should be a great consultant. You're a great business consultant. You are able to talk to them in business language, show them charts and efficiency graphs or whatever, and challenge them and get them to change, right? If you're not able to do that, then what happens is you're forced to change ERP Next, right? So since we guys came from a technical background and not from a business background, we ended up always doing the second one. Like instead of challenging them on how they should work, we will just listen to them how they want things done, and we will change it for them, right? Because that was what we were good at. But today we are having a better balance, because today we are having better business knowledge. We are having consultants who understand all this better. So today we are taking a middle path. To really answer the question, I'm sorry, I'm going all around the place, but to really answer the question, I feel like if you have a tech team, no domain is really a challenge. You can really tackle anything, any of the domains, especially the most common ones like trading, service-based companies, what to say, manufacturing sort of companies, retail, right? All these are very easily tackled with ERP Next.
Hi Vivek, I have one question. The main challenge what we are facing right now is to create the instances. Say, for example, if I want to show a demo for a trading company, I want to show a demo for a real estate company, and then I want to show a demo for an education company. How you manage these instances to create in ERP Next for a demo purposes?
Well, in our case, like we have, what we always do is we already have worked in these domains. Those domains exist as a demo for us, right? So we would have done like maybe 20 manufacturing companies, right? So we already have a demo, a ready demo, which we have prepared over the many years with us. Same for every module you take. Like we always have.
That I have understood, but I'm asking that how you maintain that, because for us right now we are using only Frappe Cloud. I'm not using anything else. We don't have any local instances created in our servers. We don't have any servers. So how to keep? Should I buy that many Frappe Cloud instances and keep one account for trading, one account for manufacturing, one account for real estate, like this? Keep on adding multiple
Yeah, I mean,
websites.
I have an answer which Frappe might not like. Our demos are, we have one DigitalOcean account where we safe keep all our demos, because over the years we ended up building it over there, and so we have just one account. just for our demos and doing a bit of development. Sometimes we do development on the cloud
Okay.
solution instances.
Okay.
So we have 1 or 2 servers in which we run multiple benches, right?
Okay.
My colleague has set it up very well. Like we have multiple benches, each bench is handling a certain domain. And
Okay.
that
Okay.
domain demo basically is the accumulated knowledge of all, like say, if it
All.
is a demo, it is an accumulated
Mhm.
knowledge based demo.
Correct. See, that will definitely grow with the experience. That I completely understand. But right now, to show the minimum thing also,
Yeah,
if
maybe
we want to,
maybe it is FC can come up with something like that. Like FC, like
I have asked so many times this question. I have asked to Priyanka also when we had met. Remember on in Mumbai webinar in the meet also partner meet that this is a bit of challenging thing which we are facing right now. I don't have and I cannot keep on adding whatever it is like $25 whatever the instances that. But the problem is that it is recurring. So if I create one $25 instance, that means I have to keep on paying $25 monthly. And how many instances will be there? Like one is real estate, one is education, one is trading, one is manufacturing. So whichever the industry comes up, I need to buy it and keep it. I have told them that I don't have any technical person. I don't want to keep any in-house server and then again pay for IP addresses. I don't want to do that. There has to be some solution for this, for keeping demo companies inside one account. So it becomes very easy for us, like switching from one company to another company and show a demo to the customer. Say, for example, this time real estate company comes up and they told me that I want these features to be seen. I prepare that and I show it to the customer and it will stay in my instance. And the same way, my demo account also will grow during the period. So this is a big challenge.
Okay.
I'm sorry
Yeah,
to say,
I would
Priyanka, but
Priyanka.
since October,
Okay,
we are partners
agreed. This
and
is an issue, but Murtaza,
we
I'll
are not
suggest
able
you
to.
something. Let's have a chat on this. I'll suggest you something which is dedicated hosting. Just purchase one server and create multiple sites over there.
But like, see, I see. If I was to say in another way, like I understand, like there might be things which will help us that Frappe can provide us, but
Correct.
our mindset has been always very different. Like from Frappe, the only thing we always wanted from Frappe is that please keep it open source. Like every other problem we can solve. Like the problem that you are mentioning, we solved it through DigitalOcean, right? So to my point earlier was that like it's vital that you get one guy who is able to help you with technical things, right? And it will make your life very much better. So like until you are waiting from Frappe to solve this problem, maybe it is a matter of just having one tech team person in your team who might be able to deploy these demo instances on DigitalOcean or any other platform, right? I'm sure Frappe will come out with some solution to solve this.
I'm sorry, but you are saying that DigitalOcean subscription will be cheaper than Frappe?
I mean, to keep a demo instance, it's a production system, right? I mean, it is not a production system. This is just a demo system, right? So you could have
Yes, yes.
yeah, you could just take up $100 system on DigitalOcean, dump in 10 demos on it, and keep it running, or $50, whatever instance you want to take, right? And you can start.
You can do the similar thing on dedicated hosting on
Or
KSA server as
you could
well.
do the similar thing on dedicated server as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
On
We need to
KSA,
discuss, Priyanka. We need to discuss.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, I just
Thank you, Vivek.
yeah, I just want to highlight these things, like also, like like one of the big things that I appreciate Frappe or always is thankful to Frappe is that this is the only company in the world that who has kept their what to say, what do you call it, their prime product, right? What do you call it, flagship product as open source? Which company in this world does it, right? So I appreciate, like I don't care, like I'm ready to forgive or like overlook everything Frappe does, as long as this thing is kept open source.
Yeah.
So, so I don't care, like, Frappe is up to mark or not, like, as long as, because that in my eyes is the biggest thing that they are doing. Like my entire 10 years came into existence simply because a company like Frappe existed. Sure, there are other open source products and all, but But they are not. They are not like Frappe. I personally feel. I mean, I might have my bias. I might have my own personal bias, but as long as it is open source and you have a tech team, you have a bit of knowledge, every problem is solvable. Is my in my opinion, right?
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Vivek. So we are just ending the session. Audience, if you have any queries, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to asif@frappe.io. We'll be dropping you an email as well for the feedback. And yeah, so if you want one more call with Vivek, do let us know. We can keep one more session with Vivek. I hope you're okay with this.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to share whatever I learned. I wouldn't say all what I'm saying is correct or not. This is what my learning is, and it's working for us. So I would be happy to share if you guys
Cool.
want.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vivek. And thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.